and degraded. Well, I'm not. I would also like to add that I take a 16.5 collar, and I'm not at all that well off for socks either. I'd be most grateful if you would make sure that my name is marked clearly on any parcels you might send, otherwise Jimmy Young will swipe the lot.
He looks half-starved.
I've not partaken of sustenance for 3 days due to the fact that my dentures are in the window of a nearby pawn shop.
You poor man. I've got a gumdrop in my handbag, but it's got fluff on it.
I care not. Delicious.
He's eaten my handbag.
Excuse me, Mr. Senior BBC Radio 2 announcer. Could you read this introduction for me?
10p a line. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we present Jimmy's Cricket Team, starring Jimmy Cricket. For 10p, I would have read War and Peace.
That poor Senior BBC Radio 2 announcer, he doesn't look well to me. He should have seen a doctor. I went to see my doctor yesterday. He said, I haven't seen you for a long time. I said I was coming to see you last week and I didn't feel well. I had to take all my clothes off and a doctor examined me with a ginger beard. Well, he couldn't find a stethoscope. He said, take a hot glass of orange after a hot bath. That was 3 weeks ago and I'm still drinking the hot bath. But I'm still a bit concerned about the Senior BBC Radio 2 announcer. Well, he doesn't look 100% to me.
I'm not. Force brandy down my throat.
Now, my guess is that he is suffering from either acidity,
Yes.
indigestion,
Yes.
or
Go on.
trapped wind.
Trapped wind.
Trapped wind.
Blow me down.
Try one of these tablets.
Thank you.
You would not believe how many people there are these days suffering from trapped wind.
I've seen them. They're usually walking 6 inches from the ground.
My good lady wife suffers from it.
And it's not funny.
You've got her on the end of a piece of string.
She's got it very bad. She frightened me last week.
Frightened you?
She sat on a nail. Whizzed round the room half a dozen times, then shot out through the window.
Well, personally, I blame the Channel Tunnel.
What's the Channel Tunnel got to do with it?
Well, it's the draft.
You could be right.
Anyway, I don't want to discuss the subject any further.
It's a fact of modern day living. You can't turn your back on trapped wind.
Please, I don't want to talk about it.
That tablet you gave me is taking a long time to... Oh, that's much better.
Once and for all, can we leave this subject? Now, if you've heard the show before, you've probably gone out tonight. For those of you regular listeners, you'll know that we don't usually play record requests. This week is different. This week, we've had a request from a couple who are celebrating their silver wedding anniversary this very day. I couldn't say no to your record request, Mr. and Mrs. Wilcox, and here are the Carpenters.
That you, Frank?
Leave it out.
Leave it out.
Leave it out.
No, you drove us all mad with that in the last week's show. Get on with it.
Bottikin's nappies are so soft and light as a feather on baby's skin. Bottikin's nappies are disposable, so that when baby needs a fresh Bottikin, you can just throw the old one away like so.
Stallion, the aftershave for men. The next time you shave, try Stallion. You'll be surprised at the results.
I tried Stallion aftershave for men, and I was surprised at the result. A donkey cornered me up a back entry.
Those commercials were the most stupid commercials what I have ever heard.
Thank you, stupid man.
People doing commercials with their heads full of Jolly Robbins. Can I have a go at doing a commercial?
Help yourself, stupid man.
Right. Have you tried Sniff'em Snuff? Sniff'em Snuff is the finest snuff. Extra rich for the snitch. Just a tiny pinch of Sniff'em Snuff, like so. And in no time...
That was very good, stupid man.
I'm on the roof!
Meanwhile, back at the Grange, the hunt ball was in full swing. Lady Lavinia finished her third pickled gherkin and had 6 dances during the Excuse Me Quick Step. During the dancing of the Gay Gordons, the 4th Earl was horrified when he realised that his frock was up at the back.
Leave it out.
Meanwhile, there was another problem.
I'm still up here on the roof!
Hold on, I'll get help. I'll ring emergency. 999.
Emergency! It doesn't matter what it is, you name it and I've got it. Just name it, lad, name it.
Oh, I don't believe it. Not you of all people.
It is that. I only started on the emergency switchboard today, and you're my first caller, so make it a good one. Have you got a need?
I wouldn't have called if I didn't.
Oh, a man with a need. Ooh, so have I. Name it, lad, name it. Just give me your address. I've come on my back, and I could be with you in 5 minutes. I'll attend to your need.
It's disgusting.
Is it? I'll be there in 2 minutes.
Will you listen to me? I want the fire brigade.
You're not the only one. I've wanted them for years.
Will you please listen to me? This is urgent. A man needs aid.
Aid's got the night off. My mother isn't well. Well, I do.
I don't know why they give you the job in the first place.
I do.
Why?
Because I'm a woman alone.
Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Mastermind. This week, we are in the magnificent St Mark's College, built in 1785 by Lord Spencer, which is in the parish of St Michael's. The contest is becoming more exciting as we have now reached the semi-finals in our search for the mastermind of Great Britain. Could we have our first contender, please? Come in. Thank you. Here is your first question on geographical aspects of the world. Can you name the capital of Rangoon?
I could if I wanted to. Why not? I'm still up on the roof, and my favourite's on next. Could you turn the sound up, because I don't want to miss him?
Miss who, stupid man?
Listen, and you'll soon find out.
My name's Marlowe, Philip Marlowe, private eye. My other eye's in the next room reading the Beano. I'd had a bad night. A dog woke me up at 2 o'clock in the morning. How I got into my bed in the first place, I'll never know. I lay awake until about 6:30 when the milkman called and left me 2 pints. 1 pint. The garbage man called. I told him to put me down. The telephone went. Fortunately, I had 2. The guy on the other end of the line didn't waste words.
Marlowe,
Most of the time.
how does 10,000 bucks sound to you?
10,000 bucks makes the sweetest sound I've ever heard.
Let's meet.
Give it a name.
You know where Sadie hangs out?
She hangs out all over the place. She's a big girl. Sure, I know Sadie's place.
Sadie's place in 10 minutes. Oh, Marlowe,
Yeah?
you carry a gun?
No, I drag it behind me on a piece of string.
Smart, bring it with you. Sadie's place in 10 minutes.
He hung up. I didn't like it when a client asked me to carry a gun. Still, for 10,000 bucks, I'd have carried a Sherman tank. 10 minutes later, I arrived at Sadie's place. A real dump of a joint. Sadie was sitting at the piano playing with gravy stains down the front of her dress. I knew the song, but I couldn't remember the words. A guy nodded to me. It must have been the same guy who'd called me 10 minutes ago. He was sitting in the corner in a trilby hat. His legs were dangling over the brim. He looked me up and down.
You're not very tall.
I'm taking lessons.
Take a chair.
No thanks, I've got one at home. You mentioned 10,000 bucks.
Right here, take them.
This guy wasn't kidding. There was 10,000 in the envelope. What's the catch, mister?
Marry my 58-year-old daughter, Fat Annie.
I couldn't get out of Sadie's place quick enough. That was 2 weeks ago. When I think about it now, I break out in a sweat. What kind of a sucker did he take me for? Marry a dame like that?
I'm glad you took the money and married me. I was getting fed up working on that switchboard. Ooh, your dinner's ready, lover. Then I'll tend to your needs. Ooh, I'll tend to 'em, lads.
Yes, my dear.
As a senior BBC Radio 2 announcer, God bless you, Gub, you're a toff. As a senior BBC...
Leave it out. You never stop. Leave it out. Right, Pat?
Leave it out.
Why should I leave it out?
Will you lot knock it off?
If he leaves it out, we'll knock it off.
Look, we had all that last week. Just let the man say what he was going to say.
Thank you. A pause now as we enjoy a moment of peace and tranquility to be found only in a monastery garden. Yes, what could be more inwardly satisfying than the undisturbed peace and tranquility in that beautiful haven of peace, a monastery garden? Who let that moggy into this monastery garden? Get it out! Hey, leave that bird alone! Oh, I don't believe it! There's a dog in here now! Hey, clear off! Oh, look at my good trousers! Get out of this monastery garden! This is mayhem! What kind of a monastery garden you call this? Peace and tranquility, peace and... Oh, no! Oh, it's the US Cavalry! Oh, no, the US Cavalry in a monastery garden!
Hey, go, blimey. Us monks is trying to have a kip in here. We've got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do our monking.
I do apologise, your monkiness.
I didn't finish Vespers till 11:30 last night. I'm knackered.
They've all gone now. Just the beautiful music and the song of the birds.
What?
The sweet song of the bird.
Not anymore.
Meanwhile...
Get off your bum!
Meanwhile, back at the Hunt Ball, Lady Lavinia was at the buffet enjoying a plateful of lettuce. She said that it looked nice and crisp and green. Little did she know that it was the boiled ham. Meanwhile, there were other less fortunate people whose lives were filled with worry and anxiety.
Arnold, lad.
Nell, lass.
Arnold, lad, you look shattered. I'll take your boots off.
They're too big for you anyway.
There's something wrong, lad. You've got trouble writ all over your face, and I want to know what it is.
Nell, I want you to stand up.
What for, lad?
I want to sit down.
Arnold, lad, tell me what the trouble is.
It's our Sam.
Not our Sam.
Our Sam.
It can't be.
Can't be what?
Our Sam.
It is.
Tell me the worst, lad.
Police have took him.
Police have took him.
Oh,
Our Sam.
they have.
I don't believe it. They can't have, lads.
Oh,
The police.
what about them?
Taken him.
Oh,
Our Sam.
they have.
Arnold, why have the police taken our Sam? I've got to know.
Miss Gribbledyke Thorpe.
Miss Scribbledyke Thorpe. Hey, what lives all alone in the tiny cottage behind Mill?
They've closed it down.
I know it's closed. We've been through all that. What about Miss Gribbledyke Thorpe?
Back door of the cottage was open, and she was bottling her plums. Our Sam happened to be passing.
As she was bottling her plums.
Oh,
Miss Gribbledyke Thorpe.
our Sam must have seen her. Had a sudden rush of blood and...
No, I can't believe it. I just can't. Not our Sam. I just can't believe it.
Neither can I. He was never all that keen on plums.
Then what happened? I might as well know the lot.
He had her on the floor. Fortunately, Police Sergeant Grimshaw Higginbottom-Well was passing, and he grabbed our Sam and took him in.
And what about Miss Gribbledyke Thorpe?
She was taken to hospital suffering from severe shock, and 2 plum stones stuck up her nose.
I'm mortified. You must have had a brainstorm. I'd never have thought our Sam capable of such a thing in a million year. Never in a million year. Not our Sam.
Neither would I. He was the finest Jack Russell Terrier I ever had.
They were two of the stupidest people what you've ever had on.
I couldn't agree more, stupid man.
Meanwhile, back at the...
Get off your boat!
Good. Nobody about, so I can read this letter from me, Mammy. Dear Jimmy, I was sorry to hear that your chest hasn't been too good. As you know, your big Aunt Nora has always had trouble with her chest. She can't get it through the door. Last week, she wanted to buy a new bra, and I went with her. They didn't have her size, and we finished up in the gardening department buying a hammock. Last week at the old time dancing, she did the bumps of Daisy, and 6 couples had to pay to get back in. And there's more. During the hokey cokey, they asked her not to stick anything out and shake it all about, as they'd already just had the extension built. I think that's what decided her to join Weight Watchers. They weighed her on the first night, and she was 16 stone 10 pounds. The lady asked your Aunt Nora what she'd like to weigh, and she said 16 stones 12 pounds. The Weight Watcher lady was very strict with your Aunt Nora. She said no meat for a month. She was to eat nothing but salads for a whole month. After 3 days, she was so hungry she bit the greengrocer. What am I going to do with your father? He bought himself a Suzuki and he was 3 days trying to put the film in. He's taking it back to the shop. He says every time he puts it round his neck, the strap breaks. I must close now as my pen is running out of... I suppose she would have written ink. Love, Mammy.
Meanwhile, back at the Grange, Sir Bunty Forthcoming had taken Lady Lavinia on the river in a punt. He had a slight accident with the pole. Never at a loss, Lady Lavinia carried him back to the fancy dress party, shouting, "How's this for a toffee apple?"
Leave it, Al.
Good evening. My name is Brigadier General Sir Man-Sized Tissues. Ever since I retired from the regiment, I've been living in the charming village of Loose Chippings. I must say I miss the regiment. I remember back in...
I say, man-sized old fellow.
It's old Sticker. Sticker Stamp. Sit yourself down and help yourself to the port.
Oh, splendid, splendid. This is the real stuff, man-sized.
The 42.
Ah.
42p a gallon.
Sitting here all by yourself, man-sized?
I've just been contemplating my doings.
Yes. Well, a fellow needs to be by himself when he's doing that.
Join me in another drop of port.
Why not? Why not?
Bottoms up.
Any minute now.
Do you remember old Reggie?
Yes. What was his other name?
Yes. Lieutenant Colonel Reggie Fortin Lost.
Yes. Clean-shaven chappy.
Ginger moustache.
That's the fellow, yes.
Walked with a Welsh accent.
Didn't he marry that girl who suffered from acne?
Yes. Every time we had a regimental dance, she won the spot prize.
Yeah.
Cheers. Do you remember old Knocker Bimpson?
By George, old Knocker Bimpson, yes.
Never sober.
Never sober. Old Knocker. Too fond of the fort. Fond of the port.
That was why his good lady left him.
I didn't know that.
He was. You're not moving this room around, are you? It was on the anniversary of their anniversary.
Anniversary wedding.
Most definitely. Old Knocker kissed the regimental goat and said, "You've grown a beard, Marjorie."
Well, I must go. It's been nice talking to you both.
Yes. Yes, I look forward to meeting the three of you again.
Good night, sir. Good night, sir. Yes, they're back. Ladies and gentlemen, from the musical comedy world, the couple whose voices blend as perfectly as the marriage, Daphne and Cyril Billington. Daphne, Cyril, so glad you could be with us.
Darling, it's an absolute joy to be here. Is that not so, Cyril, my dearest?
A pure joy, my dear heart. Love you.
Love you.
When I see the way some marriages go in your business, I must say what a pleasure it is to see a couple like you feel so much for each other like you do.
Well, I know it's a cliche, but we were made for each other.
My dear Cyril.
You both look more than usually radiant this week.
Well, and with good reason, dear heart.
Tell him the good news, darling.
Good news?
We have been invited to do 12 concerts in Adelaide.
That's great news. 12 concerts in Adelaide.
We're so thrilled at visiting Adelaide because we do have a lot of fans in Canada.
Oh.
And what's with the O?
It's a mere detail, my pet.
What's a mere detail?
Just that Adelaide is in Australia.
Is it now? It's not my fault I'm no good at physics.
Of course not, darling.
Are you going by boat?
As our many fans are waiting to see us as soon as possible, we'll be flying out.
I'm so excited. We're going on Conquer.
Conquer. Oh, dearie me.
We've got to the dearie me bit, have we? Now what have I said wrong?
The aeroplane is called Concorde.
Half a chance and he puts the welly right in.
Oh, dear. A conker is a round, brown nut on a piece of string.
A bit like you when you're in the shower. If you want to mix it, I'm ready.
Going on such an extensive tour, you must...
Ahoy!
You'll need a large repertoire.
Very much so. What our fans want to hear most is our selection from Gilbert and Sullivan.
We've found that they adore the songs from the Pirates of Penicillin, the Merry Wives of Wilmslow, and Chuchin Charmaine.
If I wasn't actually hearing it, I wouldn't believe it.
It must be
And
quite
you can go piddle up a rope.
I'll be in the car park if you want me.
And I'll just take the dog for a walk.
Yeah, and as for you,
Seconds out.
standing there, coming the high and mighty in your trendy gear. Trendy, your dog's leftovers. We'd have been finished years ago if it hadn't been for me.
I'll not dispute that for 1 second.
Finished years ago?
Yeah, when we couldn't get work, I took a part-time job as a barmaid.
Which is rather like putting a fox in charge of a chicken coop.
You must have needed all the support you could get.
Oh, it took 2 of us to support her at closing time.
You dehydrated dollop. Shall I tell you something about him?
I have the feeling that this isn't going to be very flattering.
It was his birthday last week.
Now, Daphne...
His piggin' rotten birthday. We lit the candles on the piggin' cake and the paint peeled off all the doors. The woman next door turned the central heating off.
When do you leave for Australia?
In 2 weeks.
In 2 seconds. Gar off.
Somebody must have said something to upset him.
I can't think who. I think we should leave, Daphne, darling.
I can't abide temperamental performers. Come, Cyril, my sweet.
I have never heard anything so unprofessional in all my years as a senior BBC Radio 2 announcer. You're a tough, Gov.
Never mind that. Just do something to earn it.
Certainly, Gov. That was Jimmy's Cricket Team, starring Jimmy Cricket, with Bill Pertwee, Peter Goodride and Noreen Kershaw. The script was written by Eddie Braben, and the show was produced at the Club Theatre, Altrincham, by Mike Craig.
Pretty bubbles in the air. I'm forever blowing bubbles. Pretty bubbles in the air. They fly so high, nearly reach the sky. And in my dreams they'll fade and die. Fortune's always hiding away from me. I've looked everywhere.
88 to 91 FM. This is Radio...